with a surprise round.
Fun.
Because Saoirse is the only person who noticed this happening. You are the only person other than the attacker who will act in this round.
Okay.
In the moment, before anyone else can react, Saoirse, you see this Fellman pulling a knife and lunging for you. You take a defensive stance, but he rushes forward. He's going to swipe out with the knife. That's a 14 to hit.
Nope.
You take a defensive stance, he swipes out at you, and you sidestep as he cuts through the air before calling out, "This one's the High Luminant's daughter. If we take her, she'll have to listen to us." I am going to make a persuasion check.
Maybe sleep is what I'm going to cast.
I'm going to say he needs to make a 12 or higher for what's to come. That is a 13. So, Saoirse, I'm going to have you roll a d4. There are currently 10 Fellmen standing around you, watching all of this unfold. As this particular Fellman calls out, you see as 3 of them ready their axes in their hands, and it's your turn.
I would like to grapple him.
Okay, this will be an athletics check from you. He's gonna make an acrobatics check, actually. 16.
17.
Nice.
I'm just gonna bear hug it and like pin his arms.
You've used your attack to grapple. Functionally.
Yeah.
Grappling someone reduces their movement speed to 0.
Yeah.
He can still attack you.
Yeah.
You would have to use your next action
Yeah.
to restrain him,
Yeah.
which would be another opposed to athletics and acrobatics.
Yeah.
And if you succeed then he will be restrained and cannot attack you. But
Yeah.
you will also be restrained because all of your force is going to holding him down.
Yeah.
But for now, you manage to get your arms around him. He pulls his arm out with the knife as you grapple, and you're like in a struggle with each other. And it's not like you just grab him and are holding on. It's like you two are fumbling with each other, and he's like trying to stab, and you're deflecting but holding down at the same time.
As he's like fighting me, I'm just like, nope, we're not gonna hurt you. So we can just put all this down. We're not gonna hurt anybody.
Make a persuasion check with disadvantage.
Yeah. 9.
9. He continues to struggle in your grasp.
Okay.
The 3 figures that ready their axes, you don't know the names of these figures, but you can see that one of them is a human man who has also got a little bit of scarring on the cheek, on the left cheek under his eye. There's another who appears to be a sort of wolf-like Zoanvir, and one who's a much shorter man, very like broad-shouldered and burly, with a long white beard. Those ones seem like they're about to hop to aid the attacker. That is going to bring us back to the top of the round, and Magnus, it's your turn.
So Magnus, as he's making the somatic, like the hand motions of the spell, he'll be channeling some of the Sparkwind energy in and forming it into a little sheep rat, which, for those who don't know, is a tiny little rat-sized sheep-rat hybrid.
Yes, known in the world as a chat.
It's a chat.
Call it what it is.
So then the shat shoots like a little tiny missile to a point of my choosing and explodes into like an army, like 1 million shats in every direction, encompassing the 20-foot radius of the spell. And shats like circle the heads of all the affected people, trying to put them to sleep as they are forced to count them.
Excellent.
So the shat shoots more
Oh, the
shats.
shats are just jumping through their heads,
Yeah.
like in their dreams.
Yeah. Excellent. So since all of these gentlemen and ladies are at their full hit points currently, we can say that you basically can target the ones that you are viewing as violent. And we'll kind of work there first. So go ahead and roll for your hit points.
21.
21.
Does any of them have less than 21 hit points?
Yes. Unfortunately, that is only enough to get one of them asleep. Who would you like to knock out?
Let's see. Who looks the toughest? Who's wielding like the worst looking weapon? Well, you said they were all axes.
Oddly enough, the one who's wielding the least threatening-looking weapon is also the one who is closest to one of your friends and trying to stab Saoirse.
Will.
He's got it.
It's fine. What's the worst that could happen? Yes.
Well, maybe we'll find out.
Shake.
That guy.
There's a Fellmen standing next to Charade who has the scars under the eye, who has this very menacing look to him. And there's almost like a smirk that you notice as this other attacking Fellman calls out that this is the High Luminance's protege or daughter. He gets this hideous looking smirk, and all of the shats swarm to him in this cloud of tiny wool, and he falls unconscious and falls back into the snow, asleep.
Then I'll point to the others and go, "Don't do it."
Okay, and we'll carry over that persuasion check from earlier.
Yeah.
They don't seem too perturbed.
Well, the next spell is going to hurt more.
The attacking Fellman in Saoirse's arms.
Oh, he rolled high, huh?
He rolled a natural 20, yeah.
Why am I
his
so
initiative.
bad at initiative? Like, why is that my worst roll ever?
Always.
He's going to attempt to reverse the grapple.
Oh, he built like that?
We're going to find out.
Grappling. You're not grappling me. I'm grappling you.
And then we're just hugging.
Yeah.
I think mechanically he would have to escape the grapple
God,
first.
enemies to lovers. What?
No.
I was thinking about
What if we
making out.
just grappled each other?
I think he's going to slash at you with the knife instead.
Oh, he's not going to try to reverse the grapple?
He should have, but he didn't.
Reverse
That's
the
a
grapple?
21.
Ah, yeah, that hits.
Okay.
Oh.
You take 4 points of damage from the
down.
dagger in his hands. You're down 4 points.
Well, and
Yeah, he slashes across your arms as you're attempting to grapple him and kind of cuts your bicep on your left arm. Continues to struggle.
that only made me hotter.
That's really all that he can do. That's going to bring us to Arexovir.
The other people are just wielding like woodcutter's axes?
Yes,
Okay.
which are not unmenacing. Like these are sharpened axes to fell many trees.
What do the other two look like? The other ones that are
that are awake.
grappling? Yeah.
There is a short and broad figure that almost has like a gray-blue skin tone and a long white beard that looks nervous, but it seems more like a kind of quartered animal reaction. And the other is this tall sort of wolf Zoanvir.
Can I read anything about their demeanor?
There is a snarl. Make an insight check, actually.
23. for insight.
23 is great.
You're not going to see the face of your brothers and adopted father.
I get a very strange flash in my mind of brotherly
It's a different life in a different world.
Sweet.
Inside you, there are two wolves. One, this NPC, the other, a player character from another campaign.
And they're both kissing.
And they're both boys.
You see that the figure that looked like he was going to get pleasure from this is thankfully asleep. These two, you get the sense that these are just a couple of prisoners who maybe even innocent men, but who would do anything for their freedom from the life they've been given, the hand they've been dealt, which is almost maybe more dangerous.
I'm going to cast Charm Person on the wolf Zoanvir.
Ooh, what does that look like?
I think that knowing that I'm probably not close enough to help Saoirse, in my mind, I turn around and see these other people picking up arms, and I'm gonna step in front of him, in between him and Saoirse, and hold up my hands and say, "That is not necessary, friend.
Okay, is that a
Calm down."
Is that a
And
charisma saving throw?
It's a wisdom saving
Wisdom
throw,
saving.
DC 14.
Okay. That is a 5.
They're broken people. They have no wisdom.
Yeah.
There's this almost like clouding to the eyes, not physically, but you see that any luster and reflection of the Sparkwinds in the eyes goes kind of dull as the snarl turns to more of a whimper and then he just kind of stands like back straight and starts panting.
And I'm just gonna be like, we're going to try to figure this out, and like trying to see if his friend next to him, or not friend, I guess, the other Fellman is noticing this change.
Yeah. How long does Charm Person last?
Duration is 1 hour.
Oh, damn.
Wild.
Okay. That's
Okay.
great.
Hell
Okay,
yeah.
so yeah, there's no reason to track that during this combat, unless he, takes damage or something. In that moment, Gash is going to step forward, and he's going to attempt to assist Saoirse and restrain this other Fellman as he steps forward, and he's like, Anchor, what the fuck are you doing? He's going to step forward
His
and just
name
kind
is
of...
Anger?
Yes.
All right.
Anger?
Anchor.
Oh!
A-N-C-H.
He is mad.
Trying to drag
Big
down
mad
the group.
boy.
Anger, you never behave like this.
Why are you so angry? What's going on?
So out of character for you.
No, Anchor. A-N-C-H-O-R. Anchor.
That makes more sense.
That is a 2 for Anchor and an 18 for Gash.
Hell yeah.
So, at this point, technically Gash and Anchor are both restrained. So, neither of them can move. If anyone attacks either of them, it will be with advantage. Their attack rolls have disadvantage, so they can still attack. And they also have disadvantage on dexterity saves because they are immobile, basically. Because Saoirse initiated it, Gash is kind of taking on that restraint for you, and you are free to let go. As you see, he puts a knee on Anchor's back and hits his hand on the rock on the ground and knocks the knife from it and kind of twists the arm up. You see that this man, Gash, moves with the practiced movements of a trained soldier.
Okay.
Those of you that still have your wits, restrain those bastards. And you see Charade kind of takes a step back. Stain also takes a step back. They're both kind of in shock in this moment of everything kind of going down so quickly around them. There's a figure that you don't know the name of, another sort of short, squat figure, very broad-shouldered. He has a dark brown beard that's basically braided into 3 braids that all, one comes out from the chin and the other from the sideburns. And he's going to turn to the white-bearded fellow next to him and attempt to restrain him.
So, which side are they both on?
The Fellmen who are acting right now are the ones who are on
with
your
us.
side.
Cool.
Yeah.
Or at least on Gash's side.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That grapple attempt fails, unfortunately. The white-bearded fellow pulls out from the other Fellman and kind of pushes him off to the side. Yeah, that's all that anybody has time or movement for. There's another Fellman who was standing next to Gash who kind of rushes across and leaps over Gash and Anchor on the ground, and you can hear his thick footsteps through the snow. This very tall, almost seems like he's got some giant blood in him figure is rushing over towards the white-bearded fellow as well. The figure with the white beard looks at these two that are rushing him, the other's trying to grab at him, pushes him aside, and kind of tucks and rolls through the snow as he uses his action to disengage. Rushes 25 feet up to Saoirse, but that's all that he can do this round. A human woman who's going to turn to the left to the wolf figure as Gash calls out, and she's kind of shrugs and is going to try and grab the wolf as well.
Just hugging. That's just hugging.
Yeah, he doesn't resist, so she just kind of takes the axe from him, which he just kind of hands to her and lets go. Seems oddly transfixed with Arksuvia.
Tall mommy. Daddy. Tall parent.
That's going to be Saoirse.
Wait,
You again? I haven't gone.
I was in
Right,
the
that was
surprise
the
round.
surprise round. Saoirse was the only one who wasn't surprised. You're up next, Brody.
I'm gonna toss my warhammer into the snow behind me, and I'm gonna unclip my 2 light hammers, and I'm also gonna throw them, and I'm just gonna put my hands up.
Saoirse, you surrender on your turn. That's going to bring us to Brody.
Alright, I'm definitely using my weapon feat. Do I want to kill this guy?
I mean, you can deal non-lethal damage.
Make a charisma saving throw.
Okay.
Oh.
The choice is being taken.
19.
19 is great. You feel your own heartbeat increasing as there's a lot of adrenaline being released right now. but you feel that second heartbeat, but it's off to yours. They are
Yeah.
not in tandem at this time. As you feel Sonder there inside of you, and you can almost feel that same pulsing in the hilt in your hand as his distant voice is calling out to you, "They want to hurt our friends. We should make them pay." And there's a moment where you feel driven to step forward and drive Sonder into this man's neck,
Yeah.
but something holds you back. You manage to come to your senses and make a decision that is fully yours.
Cool. To make my longsword weapon feat, do I have to actually attack the person, or can I do like a substitution attack with the trying to disarm them?
The disarming maneuver is a bonus action.
Okay, the dude that ran up, that's not grappled, that like ran up to her
with the axe. Yeah, your DC for this is going to be 10 plus strength.
11.
Oh boy.
Okay,
Wait, your strength is +1?
Yeah.
Oh.
so you don't
My
have to.
worst.
You don't have to roll anything. He rolls
Okay.
a strength or dex saving throw. He's going to make a dexterity saving throw. That is a 9.
Cool.
So, what does it look
Fuck
like
yeah.
as you disarm?
He just runs up and he's just go and like throw it 5 feet away or whatever.
as he's raising the axe above his head, rushing at Saoirse, you just kind of like,
Oh, and then I just hold the sword like out to him afterwards.
hell yeah.
Yeah.
You knock the axe from his hands, which falls and sticks into the snow, handle up behind him, and hold Sonder to his neck. And you see, as you're holding Sonder out, you actually have to kind of like move your hand back as the blade itself
Wants
kind of
to.
cracks
Yeah.
towards the neck of the figure.
That's
Make an intimidation check.
hell yeah. 10.
Okay. That's going to bring us back to Magnus.
So all of the hostile people have either been disarmed or
Or have a sword at their neck.
restrained.
Yeah. One's charmed, one's disarmed, one's
Yeah.
grappled.
Restrained.
Yeah, you see, like
Yeah.
by far the largest of them, the wolf-like figure, is just kind of like standing there and handed his axe over, and seems very like dazed and out of it. Make an insight check.
14.
You see the figure that Brody has the sword to his throat, has lost his weapon and is standing still for now, because a step forward would mean a throat being slit. But you see as his eyes are kind of darting between Brody and Saoirse, and you get the sense that this guy's not done yet.
I'm going to throw a firebolt at his feet.
Okay, is this
say-
like a warning shot?
Yeah,
Okay, make an intimidation check with advantage.
14.
Damn. This guy rolled a 12 against Brody's 10 or 9, and a 15 against your 14.
Of course he
Okay.
did. Of course he did.
Guess we gotta kill this guy.
That's your
Just
action.
calm down.
Can I speak?
Anchor is restrained, so it is your turn, Arxovia.
Let's not be hasty now. We can talk about this. We want to help you.
Make a persuasion check with disadvantage.
Because he's so mad.
Because there's a lot of adrenaline running through his veins. You don't know this guy's story, you don't know what he's running from.
What's his name?
You don't
Oh
know.
no, yet. Persuasion is 14. If he rolls a 15, I'm gonna be pissed.
His eyes are kind of shifting from Brody to Saoirse, and there's a moment where he looks like he's about to duck before Arik, you cut in and call out to him to see reason. And he looks around at the other Fellmen, everyone who's been subdued. And there's a moment where he begins to, just as he begins to kind of loosen his posture and relax, you hear this slight, and an arrow comes out from the woods, hits him in the neck, and he falls to his knees, sputtering as blood gouts from his mouth, and he falls forward. A few more arrows pepper into the ground near each of you. At this point, all of the Fellmen kind of pull in towards the center. Everyone kind of groups up.
Get straight on the inside. Get straight on the inside.
Tiny boy, little
It's just a
baby.
baby. Oh no, the sleeping guy.
I'm gonna make a luck check for the guy who's asleep.
No.
Yeah.
Natural 20.
Hell yeah!
Then again, I think he was the actual criminal.
Oh, right.
It's probably
I
a
forgot
murderer
about
and just
that.
wanted to do this for fun.
You see as the arrows pepper into the snow around as you all kind of pull together, and in this moment, Gash takes Charade, pushes him to the inside.
Oh, sweet boy.
Actually, no, Gash can't because he's still restraining Anchor.
Oh.
So yeah, Charade is still on the
Can
outside.
I do that? Because
Yeah.
I just spoke on my turn. I wonder if I can
Make
use one
a-
of my creepy big arms to just swing
Yeah,
this
you
kid
do
in.
have Big arm.
Make
Do have
make an athletics
Big
check.
strong arms.
Athletics check with advantage.
Yes. Yay! 16.
Yeah, easily you manage to put Charade into the center of this group of Fellmen who are now axe in hand, all of them looking out, and you see that what was once, even on those who were attacking you, what was once a look of determination and, there's a little bit of fear, now is completely fear. They don't know what is about to come next.
Gash, what is this?
He's still struggling. He's like, I don't know. Looks like arrows. he's also in the center of the group.
Yeah.
He's on the
Sure.
ground.
What an answer.
Just hoping it was like warring factions.
I see this.
What is this? Someone shot at us. Yeah, that's why I asked you.
It's like
Stepping out from the woods into this small area of clearing, which you can see there are a few clearer areas where just stumps jut up. But it doesn't look like these Fellmen come out and just take out an entire section of forest. They seem to go, a tree here, a tree there, leaving a lot of the growth. A hooded figure steps out wearing a deep violet cloak that seems to match almost perfectly the violet leaves of the birch trees of the ashen canes. As he pulls his hood down, longbow in hand, he reveals a chiseled face that looks as though it was carved from wood, with yellow eyes like a cat and a thicket of leaf-like hair that kind of brushes down and just shades them enough that you can see the glowing yellow through the shadows. Saoirse, it's been some time, but you instantly
Looking weird.
recognize the face of Alvi.
I thought he had a bowl cut.
He did.
What, he grows out of it?
He's
That's
been
weird.
he's been through some changes. It's
He
been
got
15
hot.
years. Steps forward, and there's a moment as he kind of looks over all of you before. Saoirse,
Elvie?
it is not safe here. Come,
Clearly.
follow us.
You shot arrows at us.
You were being attacked.
We were working on that, but
There's no time. Come, follow me. And as he begins heading off, you see as 3 more figures in similar cloaks step out from the woods. One of them goes over and checks the sleeping figure in the snow and just kind of leaves him there. And the others begin to motion for all of you to follow. Do you do so?
I'll help Saoirse pick up her hammers that
I'm
she
gonna
threw
slightly
down.
kick him on the
and-
way. Or, yeah.
2 of the figures,
Yeah. That's
Kept
a
him
shit.
convinced. Come on.
as you guys have spread out a bit, 2 of the figures come over and see Gash, who's still struggling against Anchor on the ground. One of them produces some rope, and working with Gash, they actually tie him up. Gash is just very quietly first off Islanders, and now fucking Luxens. Great. We should do what they say. Come on, Fellmen. And motions for the rest of the Fellmen. The wolf kind of looks to you, Arik, and he's like,
Yes, let's follow.
okay.
Can you have him grab the sleeping guy, please?
why are we?
Yeah, he's a big dude. It's fine.
They walk over, they tie up the one who's asleep as well, and
Just drag him.
the wolf picks him up,
Oh.
Oh, yeah.
can fully carry him.
Point of order, was Alvi inviting all of them or just us to go with him?
It seems like the group of you.
What did
Okay.
Gash call them?
Luxens.
Luxens. Make an
Oh, they're
insight
the
check.
ones that live outside of the city.
Yeah, they told
Yeah.
us about him
Yeah.
last time.
The vulgarities.
Yeah. Natural 1. Excellent. Yeah, Magnus, you have that moment of confusion where you're like, did he mean all of us? Or and I think Saoirse, you're still just kind of standing there in shock, hammers behind you.
Magnus helped me pick them
Yeah,
up.
I was gonna
great.
help her pick those up.
Put a hand on her back, like push forward, kind of try to snap you out of it. Cure wounds as I touch you on the back.
You feel this warmth from Arxovir's touch.
It's only 6 points, but
That's fine. I'm back to full.
Oh yeah.
Nice. Yeah, your cuts on your arms fully close up, not even a scar left behind. It's kind of odd, though, being fully healed and still having some blood on you.
I'll just grab some snow and.
Actually, it kind of like melts away
Yeah.
at your body temperature. There's a quiet, probably 30 minutes or so, as the only sound around you are the footsteps through the snow, just lightly crunching as you go. Occasionally, Alvi at the very front will hold out a hand for everyone to stop, and you'll hear more troubling noises, some creaks and strange bellows that don't sound like any creatures that you've heard of before. Before he waits a moment, the sounds become more distant, and he waves a hand, moves all of you forward. The terrain quickly goes from the ashen canes to a very rocky plain, these dark black stones that just peek out in areas beneath the snow that has covered them as it continues to fall. He leads you along this small glen that, Saoirse, make a history check with advantage.
15.
I think as soon as you see this little glade and the direction that Alvi is continuing to head, you instantly become aware of where it is that you're heading. It's a place that you used to visit a little bit as a child when you would sometimes sneak out of your window to go off in the woods and play nights and things like that. That suspicion is confirmed as about maybe 15 minutes later, you arrive at this large cave that's more of an overhang than a cave, but there's enough rock that is sort of built up from years of having fallen and volcanic activity that sort of makes this enclosed space. But embedded in the rock are these bits of sea glass that the light of the Sparkwind shine through and color this space with greens and blues as it shifts and makes this very ethereal area within what you have always called the Twilight Cave.
Like that scene from Balto.
Yeah, it is like that scene from Balto.
Don't think I'm familiar.
With Balto?
I mean, it's been a long time.
They
He
when
takes
the
his
wolves
girlfriend.
make out.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he's like,
Nope.
he's putting the moves on the girl dog, and he's like, they're under the hospital, and he like moves some broken glass in front of a light and tells her it's the Northern Lights. It sparkles everywhere.
Oh,
Even though they could just go outside.
Very romantic
But, yeah.
to a 5-year-old.
But yeah, and you can see that, unlike you remember, because before it was just the sea glass and the stones and a little bit of the water lapping in, which now is frozen over, you see that there are tents that have been set up, and there's actually small fires that have been made near each tent where other figures who are wearing similar cloaks, or some have them, to the side of them, but an equally sort of haggard-looking group to the Fellmen, but much more well outfitted, and certainly with much more supplies. The Fellmen, unfortunately, did have to leave behind their carts of supplies. There were also several sleds that they had that had been piled up with the wood that they had collected as you were all brought into the Twilight Cave.
They come with us.
I mean, this is how you bolster the numbers of a resistance. You gather up
You kidnap them.
you gather up the prisoners of your enemy and offer them a job.
Alvi turns and once again pulls his hood down, kind of looking over all of you with his unsettling cat-like eyes. Wow, always you four, huh? What are you doing back on Ilvermere?
We haven't been back for more than a few hours. This is insane.
We just got here.
There's some. Magnus here does research, and there's some things here on this island that he needs to collect.
You've been here the whole time?
Yes, well, mostly out here, yes.
Wild.
Yeah, you don't know the half of it.
You grew up, huh?
So did you. All of you.
Yeah.
Maybe you're the most.
Looks up at
I'm like sitting down with my knees like super high.
Come, sit by the fire. Warm yourselves. Fellmen, you're also welcome to take a load off. We will be keeping an eye on the ones who were attacking.
If we have a chance to like rest by the fire, can we benefit from a short rest?
Yeah, absolutely.
Sweet. And I can get a spell slot back.
Hell yeah.
I want to like very quickly talk to the Wolfzonevier and be like, you're probably going to change the way you think about me in a little bit. Just know that I wanted to keep you safe and that this was the most diplomatic approach. I walk up to
And then they
Could
kiss
ever
on the
change the way
mouth.
that I think about you. we go back, way back. Something.
Yes, we are good friends.
Yeah.
What's
Really
your
sweet.
name again?
They call
Sugar
me-
daddy.
They call me Garnish.
I would not have expected that.
Are you a chef by any chance, Garnish?
No.
Oh.
Gash speaks up. He's like, call him that, because that's all he left on the plate.
Oh.
You get to garnish?
He like motions at Charade, who's like,
Oh, so Charade is the one who cooks.
I mean, anything can be a garnish. Pick up a twig.
That's not really.
Don't
I
think
eat it.
that's true.
I don't.
Cedar.
This is why I cook for him.
I mean, yeah.
Usually Granny Brynja cooks, but it's usually soupy.
Another voice calls out, oh, you're probably going to want to tie that one up. And turning, you see a figure, tall and slender, very slender, wearing more closely cropped dark black clothing and furs on the shoulders that sort of broaden them a bit. And there's stark white hair that is cut short, like a taper fade situation almost, but very wavy on the top, that has almost this ethereal look about them as well. As Arik, you recognize, unchanged from the 15 years ago when you first encountered him, Petra.
Petra. You got a haircut.
I did, yes. It has been some time. You've grown quite a bit. It is good to see that you are still.
I shrug again.
It's good to see that you are still in good health. As he's talking, he's like taking a rope from his pouch and begins tying the wolf's hands together, Garnish's hands together, and walking him over to these. You see, sort of like makeshift wooden cages, basically, that they've put together. It's like makeshift holding cells. It's really just like a wall of them that's been placed up against this further inlet to the cave. That's just like a smaller section, but it's like rope twine and hardwood that's been manufactured, that they've manufactured, I should say, into this little cage wall. He pushes them through the door and closes it, as the others are also
Is there
tied
anybody
up
else
in there.
in those cages?
There is one figure that wasn't present with all of you. Doesn't look like a Fellmen. It's a figure who is wearing a simple tunic and has like fur blankets on top of him, seemingly because of his lack of clothing. But it appears to be a human man who has dark black hair that's very closely cropped all around. Kind of has that almost like what we would consider like a militant cut, buzz cut situation.
Like a high and tight sort of look.
Yeah. Very hawkish nose and sort of gaunt cheeks and like a lot of prominent features on the face, and it's just kind of like hunched over and obviously disgruntled and has a gag.
We are sympathetic to their cause. I think that it was just hasty decisions that's brought us to this point.
Sure,
Desperation.
yes. Some of them are quite dangerous fellows, though. That one who's taking a little nap murdered 4 people in Candaril, unfortunately. But
Okay.
I don't know much about the others, but we will have time to get their stories once they let the steam cool a bit. So, please, have a seat, have a seat. calls you over to the fire where Alvi is already sitting there. It's strange seeing a figure who appears to be made of wood, carving wood, doing some like whittling.
It's like his own hand. Like, ah.
Oh shit!
I think for a minute about the stories we heard about them trying to like put souls into wood, but I know that that's not the case with Alvi. He probably just changed into wood like, during the event.
Yeah, you actually
Became a
recall.
real boy. No.
You actually recall when all of that was going down 15 years ago, that there was that sort of like grain-like texture to Alvi's cheeks.
Yeah.
The last time that you saw him.
He was barkifying.
And
The last
I
time
thought
that-
his hair was like turning almost straw-like.
Yeah, the last time that you saw Alvi 15 years ago was when you were running through the woods from the creatures that were heading towards Gloamshore. And it wasn't until you all made it to the city and rang the bell that you realized he wasn't with you.
I also internally muse that I can make bark jokes both about Alvi and the Wolfzone but I won't.
I'll restrain myself.
You passed that charisma roll.
What's the cave for? What are
These-
you all?
This is just temporary lodging for us. We like to keep on the move. Petra speaks up. We are the Luxens, or the Vulgarities, as some like to call us. We are simply travelers and traders who are confined to this island as all of the transportation off was destroyed.
And is there a reason no more was made?
Oh, yes. Well, you see, the Exardescan Church has taken up the mantle of rulership over Kendril and all of Ilvermere. But as they tell it, there is nowhere else. Kendril is the last bastion of humanity, and alive by the grace of the great god, sun god Exardesca, and the fires keep them warm, and they send the Fellmen out to collect the wood, and they bring the wood back, and they burn it to stay warm. And there's no wood left to make ships because you need it for the fires.
I mean,
That's really something.
Yeah.
Yes, it is a little ridiculous, isn't it?
the rest of the world is fine.
Oh,
I
that is good news.
I mean, they have their own troubles, but it's not as bad as here.
internally, I'm like, my mind is going back to Finley on the boat and just being like, oh shit.
I mean, they don't know the boat's there.
Yeah, but if they find it,
Yeah.
So, what brings all of you back? Forgive me, I have not had the pleasure of meeting you. You can call me Petra. I am a childhood friend of Arixovir.
you haven't changed a bit.
I feel like I have changed a lot.
Is he wearing that other glove that's like the same as her glove?
No.
Oh, okay. I'm trying to decide if I want to tell them why we're here.
Did you live on this island?
I do, yes.
Did you before? Have I seen you before?
You know, it's a little foggy. I remember bright lights and waking up in the snow, well, near the snow, sort of in a puddle a little bit, and I met your friend here, and they were very kind to me and let me know where the mountains were, so I gave them a gift and went to the mountains. And I
Gloved hand.
did not find what I was looking for there, unfortunately, but I did find my new friends, eventually.
What were you looking for in the mountains?
I was looking for... You know, have you ever had something drawing you somewhere, but you don't know exactly why?
No.
Like
Arik just nods solemnly.
yes, it was like that. It was like I knew that was where I needed to be, but I didn't know
They're
exactly.
both like,
Yes, 100%.
I figured once I got there, I would know. But then I got there and I knew that it was not what I was looking for.
you weren't looking for like a giant mountain person, were you?
Mountain person. I was looking for mountains. I think I knew that it was in the mountains. That was where I needed to be.
What about like a
Speaking
mountain?
of,
Perhaps
Sorry.
a friend that you might have been looking for?
Yes, like someone I knew once.
Have you ever known a woman with like 6 eyes? 6 eyes?
That's a lot of eyes.
that's
That's
an astounding
Right? Is that
amount of
right?
eyes.
Am I remembering correctly?
Yeah.
I'm trying to look it up.
Yeah, she had 6 eyes.
there's a lot of redundant eyes.
Not to my knowledge. Does she have any other defining features?
I think that's a pretty defining feature.
It doesn't ring any bells.
What color hair did
Hands?
she have?
Alvi speaks up and he's
She
like,
had hands.
Did she have more than normal hands?
yeah, she had 4 hands.
Okay.
Alvi speaks up. Petra is very, very helpful and has done well to keep us safe in these years, but his memory is not incredibly reliable. I guess some of them, they like to talk and think I don't hear them saying I am fateless. Like I fell from the Sparkwind or something, but that doesn't sound right to me.
I'm gonna think in my head towards like Sonder of like, sounds like someone else we know.
Fateless? Who? Me?
Not faithless necessarily, but somebody with trouble with their memories.
Oh. Yes, it's hard to think. You ever have that?
Ever?
It's hard to think. Nope. Think clearly all the time.
You see as Petra is like, truly it is hard to think sometimes.
What? Can Petra hear this?
Seems like it, yeah.
What?
What?
Sandra's like, can you hear me? It's like, well, you are
Okay,
speaking very loudly, so yes.
Oh god, it makes so much sense.
Right.
What?
Oh, is Petra talking out loud?
Mhm.
Oh, good.
Alvi looks
So-
very confused. He's like, I feel
Right.
like I missed
I
something.
think I'm gonna take Alfie by the arm and go elsewhere for a second. So, all right, just clear facts. This is all getting jumbled.
Right. 15 years ago, the forest came alive. and
Right, remember
attacked.
that.
Yeah, that sounds normal.
I was running with you all through
Got a
the
glove,
woods,
I got a sword.
but I
And what happened? Where did you go?
lost my grip on your hands, and I lost track of you in the trees. So I did my best to run. I didn't really know where I was or where I was going. I just picked a direction and ran. And it seemed like everywhere I turned there were vines whipping out, and it was like the wood was turning to shards of teeth and maws. And I eventually I just kept running until I came to the base of the mountains, where I found Petra, who was just sort of lost and wandering in the snow. And he was able to do things that I still cannot explain. It was like he stretched out his hand and the creatures were just gone.
Petra?
Yes. I still have a hard time believing that it was real. I have not seen him do anything like it since, but it was almost like a wave from his hand and they just became dust. And he picked me up and he took me into the mountains and kept me safe at his camp for a while, taught me how to hunt and fish. And eventually we found more people, survivors who had been displaced. And by the time that we returned to Gloamshore, it was already different. The wall had been bolstered and most of the creatures had been burned out. And your mother was sort of taking the charge and rebuilding. But in doing so, she was instating a lot of her own rules and doctrines from Exardeska. And I don't know what happened to her, but I think something snapped in her. I always remember her preachings and that she was very devout, but I think whatever happened on that day solidified a lot of her beliefs and elevated herself. She looks like you do now. Her hair is aflame, and it's just like there is fire in her veins. And the people think that that is because she is chosen of Exardeska. She is the embodiment of the Great Flame.
Is she the only one on this island like that?
No. No,
Okay.
there are many
so it's
others.
not that special.
All of her priests.
It's not that special.
People like you, though there are only a handful of them, are sort of the ruling class now in Candaril, as it's called. And we are known as, well, they call us vulgarities.
It's not. That's not just here.
Petra likes to call us the Luxens. He likes to think that we are the light and the darkness. He has a lot of grandiose ideas.
No, he seems like a grandiose guy.
Yes, and you look over and like he's like standing at the fire, and like at this point he's like throwing dust onto it, and very similar to like what Granny Brenya would do. And he's like seems to be like recanting a tale, maybe even the same tale that Ali told you, but much more long-winded.
Yeah, good.
Slightly embellished, possibly.
Yeah.
I'm writing it all down.
So, how do you know him?
Petra?
again? Yeah.
I met him in the woods.
It is as I said. I woke up in a puddle, and out from the ashen canes came a very scraggly little girl. And I asked her, "Well, tell me, where are the mountains?" And she pointed off in the distance and said, "The mountains, they are that way. I know you." And I said, "I feel like I know you too. You seem very familiar to me." And so I was drawn to give her a piece of my clothing, and then I left and headed for the mountains, where a great journey took place. And he continues. Mentions finding a little wooden boy and saving him from the terrible vines and all of these things.
I love him.
So, Petra, when you say woke up,
Yes, I
For the
opened
first
my
time?
eyes. Yes, just like every day, you wake up and you open your eyes.
okay.
And I had a long dream, but I cannot recall it.
Did you wake up the day before?
No, that was the first time. I woke up many times in my dream, I think. It is odd to sleep in a dream. Have you ever slept in a dream?
Yes.
Isn't it fascinating?
It's like an Inception situation.
Yes, enveloped in blackness. So I found the little wooden boy, and I took him up under my arm, like a little calf, and I ran up into the mountains. Continues on. Meanwhile,
like a little calf.
meanwhile, Albia's like, I was much smaller then than I am now.
I think the difficulty here is that a calf, a baby cow creature, that's bigger than a little boy.
Usually,
It's a
yes.
bad comparison.
Is
Listen.
it? I don't know about this world. Like, what kind of a calf is it?
Listen,
Yeah.
I was kind of a chubby kid, okay? We all know it.
All right.
We don't know what kind of like cross cow
So-
calves they are.
What are we calling the day that everything changed?
The ember flare.
The Ember Flare? Mm-hmm. Okay.
Saoirse's still off to the side with Alvi.
I think we'll probably have started reapproaching.
You start reapproaching, and this time he grabs your arm and kind of pulls you back. He's like, Saoirse, I did not think I would ever see you again. I have thought about you frequently and how I treated you as a child. And I told myself if I ever did see you again that I would let you know how sorry I am for not only the stealing that my friends did, but also for blaming you. It feels ridiculous now as an adult man to say this out loud, but I knew fully well that I was the one who ripped my own pants, and I should not have tattled on you. And I'm sorry for how that might have made you feel when we were small.
I mean, I haven't really thought about it. I'm sorry that we left you behind.
It's okay. I have never blamed you for this. We were children. We didn't. We were all running for our lives, and we had to do what we had to do. And he lets go of your wrist. We should get some food by the fire. One of the other figures who steps forward, you see they kind of pull their hood back. A deep red-toned being with stark, shiny black horns that just kind of poke up just a little bit from the foreheads, not incredibly long. You can see as they step forward and smile, their like the whites of their eyes are actually black, and there's just a white ring of the iris as they sit down and kind of smirk with sharpened. You see, like they have a very sharp and elongated canine, and then the tooth right next to that is also sharp and a little shorter. As they sit down and begin passing these these little shat on a stick to each of you that have already been skinned and
the wool turned into mittens.
skinned and skewered. And yeah, they just kind of like hold theirs over the fire and invite you all to do the same.
Right.
Grilled shat, my favorite.
Just to backtrack real quick, you met a woman with 6 eyes,
Yeah.
and
Have we not been over this? No?
I don't think you mentioned 6 eyes. I don't think you mentioned a woman.
Would you have ever told me about it previously? Or
I guess I haven't told you all about it, but yeah.
You haven't told me about this either.
Wait, you didn't know about it?
No.
That's how I know.
okay,
you.
the new rule is if you meet anyone with more than 2 eyes, tell us.
Brother, we met in the woods.
Hold on, let's get some
You don't know how many eyes people could have.
dinner and we'll talk all about it.
All right.
So he had to say anything bad about them. He just had to tell us.
I mean, wouldn't it be weird if I came up to you and I said I met someone with eye? You'd be like, all right,
I'd be like,
that happens.
I'd be like, is it in the middle? Is it like, is there one missing? Like, what's
Right.
the novelty here?
Let's discuss the Ember Flare.
All right.
What's that?
What? I would like to hear from our friends here.
Yeah.
I mean,
Was it what?
you were the
Okay,
one that
yeah.
found me during the Ember Flare. Was that?
We'll go on. But what? You became wood?
If memory serves, this was already sort of taking place before that happened. There was a lot of buzz around town because a lot of changes were taking place leading up to the Emberlight visual.
Yeah, there was some sort of a build-up.
When we
Right, I suppose I had kind of a fever leading up, but I guess that was.
My mirror got smaller.
I
what?
don't think that did. I think the other thing happened.
Your what got
My
smaller?
mirror?
Mirror? Does that just mean you grew bigger?
I dreamed of the forest attacking the city before it happened.
What?
When
Sure, I've told you about this before. Maybe not.
when we went out into the woods, I met a woman with 6 eyes and 4 arms. And she offered me a choice of 3 different boons. And Saunders, the one that I got.
That.
I was a boon. But we're friends now, right?
Obviously.
Did you get a name?
That's nice.
You did get the tattoo, though.
Right.
I remember when you lied about that.
You've got a glove.
Yeah.
And you got that day?
Yes. Petra,
Yes,
do you have the other glove?
I do. It is here. And he pulls it out from his pocket and slides it on his right hand.
I'm gonna like.
Did you get
hold-
my gifts?
Yeah, I want to hold the stick that I've eaten the shat off of and see if I can like
Yeah,
make
he-
it appear in it.
It's him.
Wow.
All right.
He sends it back to you.
So that's where those come
Aren't they
from.
fancy? Would you like the pair?
Oh,
Oh,
I mean, it's been nice actually having you have the other one.
Sure, but you know, I have a feeling I'm going to be going somewhere soon.
What?
So it might be better if maybe one of your friends has it.
Where are you going?
but
I don't really know
What-
yet.
what's the advantage of having the pair?
Well,
Well, you give one to someone you trust, and you can send them things. Or if you're playing tricks on little children, you can be like, "Look what I have in my hand," and then be like, "Which hand?" And they'll be like, "Oh, I saw it in that one." And then they open it, and it's not there.
Alright, that's
I'll whisper to Eric's. You can give it to Finley, and then we can like trade stuff with the ship.
that's true. Are you sure
Who
you do
is
not
Finley?
mind parting with it?
He's just a guy we know.
Oh,
He's
okay.
He's a friend.
just,
Billy.
you know,
Is he a cool guy?
He's yeah.
We think so.
He does
Nice.
carpentry.
Cool. You guys have a boat?
I
I'm.
mean,
apparently.
we got here.
I'm just gonna be straight out like,
We've-
yes.
I will say my parents have a boat,
You-
which is true.
You should
we have a
guard
boat
it
now.
closely.
Yeah, but
That is what I am getting. It sounds as if it will be destroyed should anybody from Canderel find it.
Yes, they will certainly strip its wood and burn it.
Oh, right.
Okay.
where you're going, you don't need the glove?
No, I don't think so.
Where are you going?
I don't know yet. But I know that the journey approaches. You ever get that feeling?
Constantly.
Like both of us nod. Like you guys are gonna shake your head.
I'll say yes after I've planned it meticulously out my itinerary. I'll know that it's
Nope.
soon.
At this point, Alvi speaks up and he's like, "Petra, you are. When are you planning on leaving? This is the first time hearing of this." And Petra's like, "Oh well, I do not make the plans, but I have a feeling. So maybe soon."
I like this guy
And
so much.
Alvi at this point takes Petra aside and is kind of like talking to him quietly. You guys can make perception checks if you would like to
Yeah,
listen
I
in.
wanna
I like how we keep being like, can I talk to you? can we aside?
There's no privacy in the Twilight Caverns.
12.
Let me know if anybody rolls higher than a 16.
Yeah,
I
I
think
just did
this is
17.
the worst perception I've ever had for a character. I'm always like,
We're usually all high perception.
I am not high perception.
Same.
I'm
You're
high
passive,
passive
yeah.
perception,
Yeah.
but not
I'm
any
only +1 and
other
only
perception.
And plus 12.
Like my passive perception is 18 and my passive investigate is 20. But my rolls are all dog shit.
Arexovia, you are the only one that overhears this conversation. And I think that it's less that like you've got better hearing, and it's more that some connection between you and Petra, that it's almost like you can hear as he is hearing.
You hold the glove up.
It's almost as though like you are present in the conversation.
Hello. Yeah, you make a fucking telephone with the glove.
Can I actually ask all of you except for McCall to please step outside? for a
Oh,
moment?
I'm gonna pee.
I have to pee.
Let's
Yeah, go
pee.
for it.
Perfect timing. We'll urinate.
I'll do my best to differentiate the voices. Alvi is kind of the lower voice of the two.
Okay.
Petra, I had no idea that you were planning to leave. What about all of our plans? The plans still stand. Plus, you have new helpers here now. Trust me, they are going to be very, very helpful to you. It's like, how? I mean, I believe you, but how can you know that for sure? Just a feeling. And Alvi, there's like a long sigh as Alvi's just like, always just a feeling, right? And Petra, I think at this point you're kind of like looking over Alvi's shoulder at Petra, and there's that sigh, and Petra almost looks offended as he's like, well, of course, Alvi. As I have always told you, there is nothing more real in this world than what you feel. And he kind of like pats him on the face before like pushing him to the side and returning to the group. Walks back over to the fire. Alvi turns around and there's this look of concern on his face. It's hard to tell if it's more concern about something that's been promised, or if it's more just a child looking at a very fatherly figure that they know is about to leave them, and having just that sort of lingering awareness of a coming goodbye before Alvi walks back over to the fire as well. Petra takes a seat.
What feeling do I get from Alvi in general? Like, is he a lot more confident now, or?
Alvi seems confident,
Okay.
competent, and
Hot.
a little traumatized.
Is he hot?
No.
Is he
He's
hot
super
now?
hot, yeah.
Oh, what hot wood?
I use the word. I literally use the word chiseled to
You did
describe
use
him.
the word chiseled.
Yeah.
I picture him as like a masculine version of Hunter Princess.
What
From
kind of
Adventure
wood?
Time.
Is he like a mesquite? Is he a pine?
Oh my
Oh,
god.
I imagined he was like
An
the.
oak?
What are they called? The white
Applewood?
trees?
Cherry?
The birch?
He's like birch.
He's
Okay,
a
birch.
he's a
Okay.
hardwood.
Yeah, we'll
Nice.
say he's got that sort of birch coloring, and there's actually like a scar over one of his eyes that's that sort of like darker eye-like texture that birch trees have.
Hot. Smell good.
Yeah,
Okay.
smells floral.
Yeah.
The next time he walks back, Brothy's just like,
He smells like yeah.
hey, hey.
Hi, I'm Brody. Yeah, he smells like sandalwood and
Oh, yeah.
patchouli.
I'm just gonna be like, what?
Petra sits back down before Alvi. So, would you like the other glove? Completely
Yes.
set?
Yes, thank you.
Enjoy it, enjoy it.
I hope that it brings you fortune and favor. So, who are your friends? We have not been introduced properly.
Oh, this is Brody and his brother
Brody?
Magnus
His hands are very cold to the touch. He shakes each of your hands.
and
Okay.
Sersha.
Hi.
Hello.
Does he look pale or
Yes.
anything? Okay.
Yeah. Like almost an albino look to him.
Okay.
Except that his eyes are more of just like a stark blue.
Interesting.
Petra, does the trickster mean anything to you?
The trickster?
Alvir has told me a little bit about his fables. So I'm familiar with them in passing. But it is my understanding that Alvir was raised as an Exardescan, and his knowledge of the fables is only in passing.
Have you ever seen any large metal tablets in your time around the island?
How large?
Pantomime the size and shape of the
Don't you have
tablets.
Is that about like letter size? Like US letter size? 8.5 by 11?
A little bigger?
I think they were big, like maybe like 11 and a half by,
11 by 14?
yeah, 11 by 14.
Okay, okay. No, I have not come across anything like that in the mountains. I have found a few things scattered in ruins that we have discovered through the ashen canes that I have back in my tent, but mostly I hold on to those for sentimental reasons. I like to collect things.
Are they old things?
Yes, I think so. Some of them look like new, but I get the feeling from them like they have seen a lot of years.
You want me to see if they're magical in nature?
Oh, I know they are magical in nature.
Oh.
That's why I keep them.
Can I examine them, please?
Make a persuasion check.
I said please.
Magnus is very keen in the pursuit of knowledge.
16.
I get this sense about you. Sure.
He goes into his tent. You hear some rummaging. You swear you hear like a pot fall and shatter.
Oh no.
But there's no like cursing or anything. You just hear like, oops. And he walks back out.
With a Tamagotchi.
Sorcerer.
He brings out 3 items. One of them is a small necklace that looks to be made of maybe gold or bronze. It's hard to tell with the patina, but it has 3 little rubies set in it. They have this sort of elongated shape
Beautiful.
that look as though they're being held by little hands.
Very beautiful.
then he sort of like swoops off the cape that he's wearing, this black cape that doesn't seem to match the violet ones that everyone else is wearing in the Luxens. Sets that next to it, pauses for a moment, and like looks you up and down, as if you make an insight check actually.
My first good insight roll ever. 21.
Nice.
You see a look that you've been given many a time at school, which is somebody like looking you up and down, thinking, "Can you be trusted with this information?" All right, and he reaches into this messenger bag that he's got on at his side and pulls out this mask that seems to be in the shape of. It seems to be made from wood. It's been carved into the shape of this strange creature that you don't recognize. It looks like some weird mixture of like a barotelope and an Ilvermirian moosehound, but somehow with not all the features of either. And he sets that down next to it as well. These are the most interesting things that I have found.
So when I identify the wood mask, what properties do I discover, and like the activation words and all of that kind of stuff? Like I'm noting all of the properties that I can about them so that they can possibly be recreated.
Remind me again how your identify spell functions. I know we saw you use it on the jar. Are you doing this as a ritual?
Yeah.
Okay, and that takes 10 minutes, right?
I think it takes an hour.
It takes an hour for identify
Oh, really?
for each item.
Let me see. I
Yeah.
think that is correct.
It's 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I think it was just the fine
unless it
feminine.
specifies.
Any ritual spell takes 10 minutes to cast.
Yeah, unless it specifies that it takes longer. But yeah, if you use a spell slot, it's 1 minute.
Yeah.
But if you cast it as a ritual, it's 10.
So I'll do the ritual for each of them. So it'll take about
Okay.
30 minutes.
Okay, yeah, that's like the length of a short rest. So
Yeah.
that's totally fine.
So, but there's the necklace, the mask, and what else?
The cape.
Oh, cape. Okay.
Magnus, you choose the mask first. You trace along these fine lines that you've become accustomed to with the little research that you've done, but now seeing these various enchanted items, that a lot of them seem to have these very fine carvings that aren't even visible really to the naked eye until you get very close.
I figure like the detect magic spell makes them apparent, like where they are
Yeah.
on the item.
That's like where the glow emits from.
Right.
As you're tracing along, it's like a connection will be made and you'll get a piece of information, and then you'll move on to another set, and as that connection is closed, then you get another piece of information. The things that come to you over time are that it's a mask that's been carved from yew wood specifically. You get the word boar, but that doesn't really mean anything to you.
B-O-R-E, boar?
B-O-A-R, boar.
Like a hog.
Gotcha.
But you don't know really what to make of that. You also get this sense of finite usage. There's something about the magic of this particular mask that would grant its wearer abilities like those of beasts.
But I don't know what a boar is, so I don't know like what those abilities would be.
Well, you're aware that it is not tied specifically to the creature that is depicted.
Oh, just like whatever beast you choose, I guess, maybe? Or
Correct. But for a finite amount of time. You would wager 60 seconds.
temporary.
Temporary.
Hey, nailed it.
Oh.
Essentially, mechanically,
Wow.
for those of you curious, this mask has 3 charges. While wearing it, you can expend a charge to cast Polymorph on yourself for 1
Damn.
minute.
That's dope. And the cape?
The cape is made from 20 creatures known as knife wings that have been sewn together.
20 knife wings.
It is very thick and hardy, resistant to certain types of attacks. And in addition, you get the sense that it has this sort of billowing function so that if you were to fall while wearing it, it would slow your descent by quite a bit.
Like
Once
a
again,
feather fall
yeah.
sort of thing.
Once again, mechanically, while wearing this cloak, you get a +1 bonus to your armor class, and when you fall while you're wearing it, you defend 60 feet per round and take no damage from falling, instead of the usual 500 feet per round.
Right.
So it's basically like a little slow fall cape.
That's cool. And the pendant.
This pendant, I would say, is the most interesting to you. Well, I think seems like the most useful thing to you. It seems to have this enchantment on it that makes it aware of its wearer, and that if said person is in a life-threatening situation, it will release this, basically like a jolt, to do whatever it can to attempt to stabilize them. It also seems to open the wearer up in that moment to other types of magics. Mechanically, if you're wearing this pendant, which does require attunement, if you are dying, if you're unconscious and rolling death saving throws, you are stabilized at the start of your turn. And in addition, whenever you roll a hit die to regain hit points while wearing this, you receive double the number of hit points that you normally would.
Wow, that's pretty cool. Awesome, thanks. That's very instructive. I am constantly researching ancient magics, trying to unlock their secrets.
Ah, that's it?
Yeah.
You're not even going to make an offer or anything?
Can I have them?
Well, not for free, of course. What do you have?
Not much.
What about you is worth a trade?
What about me?
Yes.
You want to, like, take some aspect of me?
I will take whatever you offer if I deem it worthy.
I don't really have much stuff. And I need all of my journals and my rubbings. I can copy one of my spells for you, maybe,
Oh.
if that would be cool.
What types of things do you have at your disposal?
I'll describe sleep since that has already been shown to the people around here. I'll describe prestidigitation because it's kind of like a real basic spell. I'll describe Mage Hand.
Make an insight check as you're describing these things.
17.
You see that there's this look of longing and desire as you're describing these things. But specifically when you get to sleep, there's this look of like desire, but he kind of like blinks it away. And this man is incredibly hard to read and is very eccentric and strange. But you get the sense that there's some sort of mental battle going on as you're describing these things.
These are all secrets that took me many years to glean and distill down into a functional state. So that knowledge can be very valuable.
Yes. You should be careful with these things.
Oh, I am.
Guard them, encode them, make it so that others cannot as easily discern your writings as you do. It is, well, you have to be careful with these things.
I agree.
But if you're willing to part with them, which of these items calls out to you the most?
So that cape, you said it's made of like 20 knife wings. Is it grody looking or is it like really
I didn't
cool
say
looking?
that. What?
No, I'm out of the game. like the way that it looks. Does it look like there's a bunch of animals sewn together, or does
I mean, it
look
looks
cool?
like leather.
Okay, so it just looks like a cool leather cape.
Yeah.
Okay. Is it like
How sick does it look?
It looks sick as hell.
Is it fucking rad?
A black leather cape.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah.
probably that cape?
If you trade me your
Not
knowledge,
the necklace.
So just to be clear, I will provide the knowledge to you, but I intend to retain it for myself as well.
sure,
Okay.
yes.
How
Right.
would I take your brains?
Just, I've heard.
Do I get the
heard
feeling
stories.
that you could?
Make an insight check.
Okay. Nat 20.
That's funny.
Woo!
You get the feeling there's more to this figure than meets the eye, certainly. But what exactly it is, you don't know. But in this moment, on that question, you think that even he doesn't know,
Okay.
but that his hesitance and that specification might have been important.
I've heard stories.
The nat 20, he's like, oh yeah, this is a god.
Yeah.
Yes. Do you have it written down, or
Yeah, I'll
just take a look.
transcribe a copy of it for you. Oh,
that won't be necessary?
okay.
Might I see?
I will allow him access to that part of the spellbook.
Magnus is gonna be so mad. Just, yep, got it.
He looks over it for a couple of minutes and then nods. He's like, perfect. Enjoy your new cape.
Thank you.
He scoops up the...
I'm gonna grab you by the head. You still remember everything? You know how to do that, or
You want me to try it out?
I'm just checking on your brains.
I mean, as far as I feel like I could still cast it.
Yeah, you could.
Yeah.
All right.
Sweet. Awesome.
Trading in knowledge. I like this.
Me too.
I'm just not smart.
Alvi is like, is this going to be all right, Petra? And he's like, on the contrary, I think it would be very helpful. Thank you.
Thank you for the chance to examine and for the trade.
Of course, of course.
You got the cape?
Yeah. Got it.
Gash kind of clears his throat.
Mm-hmm.
Forgive me for intruding, but if we don't get back by nightfall tomorrow with a hell of a lot of lumber, that's going to be bad news for us. Petra's like, on the contrary. They will find the body, probably of one of your friends, if they even come searching. They will find your supplies that you had already cut down, and probably assume that the rest of you are dead. Gash is kind of like, yeah, well, I guess that's not wrong. But what now? Do we just live out here?
I mean, you
And
kind of already.
we only come out for 4 days at a time, maximum.
That's basically
Most of the
us
time we're...
living out in the woods.
Well, no, but it's not like 4 days and then 1 day back. It's like, once every 2 weeks.
But
There's
you're-
different crews of Fellmen. We're just one small squadron.
But what's life like when you're back in the city? Are you in prison?
Well, we're under close guard in the Southern District, for sure.
So
So
you would have some freedom out here, and you wouldn't be forced to be cutting down trees all the time.
Yeah, but there's no dreads in the city.
Well, I mean, these folks seem to be managing all right.
Alvi speaks up and he's like, you're welcome to join us. We can show you what we know of survival out here. It is challenging, but it's not more challenging than what you've already been up to. But everyone, please, might I talk to you at the mouth of the cave?
Sure.
All of you, everyone.
oh, sure.
He kind of glances over at the Fellmen that are tied up in their little makeshift prison. And you get the sense that he doesn't want them to hear what he's about to say. So he walks all of you over. Petra, very high stepping on the way over as well. You see, there's a couple of times where he goes to do a flourish with the cape that he no longer has. Before he's like, oh right.
Oh,
All right,
guy.
give it
had
back.
to,
Walks over to a pile.
had to take the cape.
Walks over to a pile and picks up one of the purple ones and puts it on. And he's like, eh. Alvi walks you guys over.
Digitate it. It's sparkly now.
I forgot what we had updated it to. Still a work in progress.
One more update and it's the turtle noise.
Can't wait for prestidigitation.
I need you to know it
Prestidigitation
doesn't have to make-
2.1.5.
Yeah.
Doesn't have to make any sounds. You could have
I think
no.
it. I think it does have to
No, I
make
don't
sense.
think it
I think
does.
you have to make sounds.
I mean, it doesn't. Well,
Maybe you could separate out the sounds so that sometimes it's just sounds and sometimes it's just smells.
yeah. I mean, I can make just a sound.
But you have to make a sound to cast it, right?
I mean, I guess I don't have to. I just kind of always did since.
I like to think it's just like an incidental thing. That
Yeah.
it's like there's a line it's somewhere in the spell code that like if smell also sound,
Yeah.
but it wasn't intentional. Like you have to search out where that command is.
It's like a load bearing line of code that
Yeah,
you don't really know why it's necessary, but
Breaks if you don't have it.
yeah,
Or like every time I take it out, it doesn't work.
yeah.
It only
It
smells
doesn't
like
make
farts.
sense why it would work.
It doesn't smell like farts. It just sounds like farts.
Right, but if it doesn't sound like farts, it only smells like farts.
Oh yeah, that's also possible.
You're kind of like quietly having this conversation before Alvi stands before the group.
Albie is tired.
He
Go
does.
back.
He does look not like tired of you guys and your shenanigans, but more just like weary.
Or absolute nonsense.
This is still a work in motion, but Candaril's laws have gotten out of hand. There are almost daily executions of those being burned on the pyre in the center of town, and we have since lived our lives, since the ember flare, among the woods, among the dreads, as they've come to call them. And it is a hard life, and none of us have knowledge of how to build ships. We could slap together a raft, but it would not be safe. You have a ship that could take people away from here.
We could also, like when we get back to Lokvara, we could have them send more ships to pick up the rest of the survivors.
Yes, but
Take them.
We can't fit everyone on our long
How
ship,
many
but like,
people are there?
Luminance Ashwood would rain fire from the skies on any approaching ships if she saw a fleet approaching. There is only one option that we have, one answer that I keep landing on, and it is that we need to liberate the people of Candaril. Now, I'm not saying that we need to murder anyone. We don't need to kill the Exardeskins in charge. We need to give the people the opportunity to have a choice, whether they stay or they go. And that cannot happen if the High Luminance is still in power.
maybe
So-
you can reason with her.
Perhaps you could.
I don't think that's gonna go the way you think it's gonna go.
I don't know how it's gonna go. I'm just saying maybe.
In
Listen,
her
all I'm
eyes,
saying is when I was a child and she was going all off on her Exardeska, I couldn't talk her out of it then. And it sounds like she's kind of tripled down on it.
but now, in her eyes, you're chosen of Exardeska. You bear the flame as she does. Perhaps that could be an in.
You could say that you're chosen to come back and bring news of the world.
Do you think she knows you're alive or your father?
I don't know what she knows.
Maybe we could douse her with water and tie her up so that she doesn't rain fire on us.
Water down?
I don't know.
It's important to me that you know that doesn't work.
You have gifted me a way that I could help, but I should warn you that when I try to do things, they are potent.
Mm-hmm.
Meaning?
For example, everyone please stand back. You see all of the Luxens take like 5 steps back.
I will follow their lead and actually move behind them.
I take many steps back.
You do so. Petra stands there for a moment and closes his eyes before reaching up, and you can see there's a slight glow at the fingertips as he plucks a lock of hair from his head. And eyes closed, he continues chanting and speaking as he rubs his hands together. And when he opens them, there's this fluttering of feathers, and you see this stark black bird, unlike any type of bird you've ever seen before. It is completely black in its coat. It's got a long, thick beak and beady little black eyes, and it lets out this crowing call as he holds it there in his hands.
You made something.
Yes, but it's different.
What is it?
Forgive me.
And he breaks its neck, and he's now holding this dead bird.
Does this make sense?
No!
Oh,
Was it real when you brought it into being? Was it a real thing?
yes, and remains. That's not normal.
Magnus, make an Arcana check.
Is
I
it
need more information.
from
Did
my
you just kill Hugin?
from my
She got a little crown.
19?
A 19 Arcana check is great. You know from the motions that he was making with his hands, these are motions that you recently studied on
Find
the tablet.
familiar.
That was the Find Familiar spell.
And the reason
You
that
know-
it's unusual is because it should go back into.
Yeah, there should have been some sort of poof. It should have returned to Sparkwinds. It should have gone away and dispersed. He summoned a living thing from nothing, from his hair, seemingly, and then killed it, and it died.
It should have gone away when you broke its neck.
Yes, yes. When I do things, they are not how they should be.
And you see he like has this moment where like his eyes are kind of going back and forth, and he seems like stuck. Alvi steps forward and like places a hand on his shoulder and kind of like brings him back to himself, and looks at all of you and he's like,
This happens sometimes. If he exerts himself too much, he gets confused, and it might be a little bit before he's fully back with us.
and you see Petra just looks kind of like vacant and walks over to the nearest fire and just kind of like crouches down and holds his hands unnaturally close to it. Just like keeps them there.
I wonder if he casts.
I inspect the dead bird.
The bird?
Yeah.
Yeah, make a what is it that you're looking for?
A crown.
Yeah.
Make an investigation check.
Can I get its name?
A tiny rapier.
The last days of Hugin were a mystery.
Poof.
She never actually. She seemingly vanished one day.
Ooh. Okay. 18.
18 is great. Looking over the bird, you see that its feathers are not like the feathers of typical types of birds that you're used to. While having that feather-like shape, they almost, I don't know what the threads of a feather are called, or the parts of a feather.
Like the pins?
The edge.
Yeah,
or
not the
whatever.
quill, but the
Yeah.
actual soft edge. You see that they are actually like jagged in such a way that it almost feels intentional in their creation, and they almost seem to make small runes themselves.
And this is straight up bird.
A bird.
Not bird mixed with something else.
Correct, which doesn't mean anything to you.
Okay.
To Brody, that just means this is a weird type of bird he's never seen before.
Yeah.
To us, this is a raven.
Yeah.
Just a standard raven.
Just,
Okay.
it's the birdest bird
Yeah.
that this
Yeah.
world has ever birded.
Exactly.
Which is
Aside
weird.
from, actually, I would put it this way. This looks more like a raven featherfolk, a Zoanvir, but in a smaller, more animal-like form, which is
Wild,
more
yeah.
unsettling to you.
Okay.
Worth noting, the Zoanvir are regular animal shapes. The combinations are only in the creatures.
Gotcha.
Oh, that would be so upsetting then. It'd be like fighting a little
guy.
man.
It's just a little guy.
Yeah. Well, but it's like more animalistic. Like it is
Yeah.
shaped like birds are, but it looks like the features of a zone,
Yeah.
minus the hands and legs that zone.
That's what I'm saying. It's like if
It's just a little dude.
It's like if
if
you
there's a-
found a naked chicken with a man's head.
yeah.
Yeah, that's true. Why do you say that like it's supposed to be
We've
better?
got on some unsettling nature.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's weird and bad. That's why he apologized before he killed it. He had to prove his point. Look, it was either this or something much worse.
Yeah,
I'm gonna hold it up to you.
It's a strange
Nothing
creature.
I've ever seen.
I make some notes.
Stop waving it around.
I want to go over to Petra and see, like, I'm going to put a hand on him just to see if I can get his attention again,
Yeah, he turns and looks at you.
and then pull out the stone that had the hair wrapped around it and ask, does the name Bromthir ring any bells?
Bromthir, my friend. Yes. I think he's coming to get me.
I think so too.
There is somewhere we have to be.
And he turns back to the fire.
I'm wondering if he cast the sleep spell, if someone would just sleep forever until woken up or something.
It's very possible.
Oof.
Keep that idea in your back pocket.
But
Alvi speaks up.
it is going to be dangerous, so I understand if you need to leave for your own safety. This is something that we had planned to do regardless.
Well,
I had no idea that you all would return. I didn't even know if you were still alive.
Well, it seems that perhaps fate did bring us here.
I mean, there's things that we would like to do while we're here, but it seems that those things may not be possible if we're not able to operate freely within the city. So maybe it would be in our best interest to help liberate it from its oppressors.
It is. It would be very much appreciated. Every hand is a helpful hand.
And you see a lot of the Fellmen that came over here as well are like nodding, and even like those that didn't come to Anchor's aid due to, fear or the fact that they're not, violent themselves naturally or whatever it may be. The thought of liberating everyone, while scary, seems like a good move to them, at least. It would mean their freedom and fewer public executions. And yeah, the way that Alvi talks about, ramped up executions and that someone is like burned in the square every day, there's no telling how many people that, were close to anyone here that may have included.
That's a good point, too. Survivors that we would want to see still alive could be at risk.
I fear I have already done this many, many times this evening, but could I speak to the four of you privately?
Yeah.
Excellent. Please, my tent is this way.
He brings you in. He's got a larger tent that's got, some, like a table set up where there's some, it seems like it's mostly used for like skinning creatures and preparing meals and things, but it is kept clean. There's a few hides that are set up near the edge of the cave to tan that you imagine were prepared here. So he brings you in and sets chairs out for all of you.
Can we sidebar? Can we sidebar?
Sidebar?
Yeah.
One more sidebar.
You say you have only just arrived on Ilvimir recently. Have you encountered anything in the woods other than the Fellmen? Good, good. There is a part of the story that I do not usually tell. I do not think it would be favorable. Everyone here, we really depend on Petra. He's the reason I am alive, and he's the reason that many of us live. When I first met him, he was not as aware of his situation as he is now. we had to defend ourselves from a lot of these dreads, and it was mostly Petra protecting me. The things that he creates sometimes have minds of their own. They continue to live.
How?
Just as if it's a godlike power.
I wonder
Yes.
if he's
It's-
creating them or if he's pulling them from
It is
somewhere outside of our world.
I don't know, but it is as you. I would describe it exactly as you say. Imagine a god who has godlike power, but does not realize that that is what they wield. It can be very dangerous. There was a particular instance where he created something that split and seemed to replicate itself in a way, not like procreation, but more like one thing becoming two, and then those two becoming two more, and so on. Those things are still roaming these woods, and they still are a plight on not only us, but the people of Candaril.
Is that the dreads that were mentioned?
One of many. Petra is not responsible for all of them, but specifically we've taken to calling them the Frostlings. It was not his intent.
I'll describe what our buddy Thalos told us about encountering before. Like, is that what you're talking about?
You say that, and he takes a deep breath and like closes his eyes and nods.
So they're called
Yes.
Frostlings?
That is what we call them. If not just dreads. For some reason, there are certain places on the island that they do not seem to want to go. They tend towards more populated areas, like Candaril or Fellmen camps, which is why we are constantly on the move. We never stay more than 3 days in one spot. So it is safer if you stay with us than if you were to venture out on your own.
No argument there.
And there are other things that linger on this island as well. That
We'll need to go back to the city soon, right?
Do you know of a way in, like a secret way in to the city?
No, we are admitted into the city, though the Exardescans view us as vulgarities. As long as none of us allow our abilities to be seen or use them within the city, then we remain safe. And we are simply viewed as traders. We come in to sell our pelts and things that we have hunted from our time outside the walls. We share stories, but never stay more than one night before leaving.
Do you have any allies or contacts within the city guard or whatever passes for that now?
Do we need one? We've got you.
Well, we do have some. We have 3 agents specifically. One within the wall guard and 2 that function as city guardsmen. Not wall watchers, but standard enforcers.
That could be helpful.
That's where we get most of our information. We know of Her Luminance's whereabouts. We get a report every 10 days or so. If all of you are willing to help us, join with us in this cause, it would mean the savior of the people of not just Candaril, but the people of Glomshore.
I mean, I think that we should, but you know that my reasoning is not entirely altruistic.
Sersha, I can't imagine what this is like for you. And I do not wish to put you in a position of danger. And I do not know what we will encounter in the city.
I mean, she probably wouldn't kill me.
No, but I
But she
am worried that she might.
Why would she kill you?
I don't know. She's unhinged, clearly.
What if we were forced to battle her? What would your reaction to that be if it came to that?
I don't know.
That's fair.
I'd kind of assumed I didn't think there'd be anybody left here.
It's a lot to digest.
There's no hiding what you are, though.
No, clearly.
I don't think we need any other workarounds. I don't think we need any guards or whatever. You are right.
But we need to know what we do after she finds us.
It could come in many ways.
Are we going to try to sneak in? Are we going to?
I had assumed, but
I figured
you're
we'd
right.
just go talk to your mom.
And if she does not listen, and if she holds Sersha against her will?
I mean, if that happens, that's a problem.
Do we want to reveal the truth of the outside world to the town before we even try to talk to your mom?
That
Ah.
could be something.
Like
You are held in high regard, I assume, right?
I mean, does anybody
Do you
even know
Do you
that?
want to address people?
I mean, it could, not to be morbid, kill two birds with one stone.
Which is what?
Well, it would attract her attention to wherever we are, and it could tear down her argument.
But it can make negotiations with her worse.
Are we based on your knowledge of...
But maybe we don't
Limits?
need to negotiate. Maybe if we can distract her and her people,
Did you...
everybody can get to the boat.
well, I don't think that we can fit the whole
That's-
town on our boat.
No, but I think we could easily get all the people here on a boat without even going through that trouble, right?
Perhaps we need to move swiftly. The Luxens that you see here in camp are not all of our number. There is another faction that we used to be brethren with that split off from us. We had a disagreement that, now that I think about it, with your help, could be... Their original plan could be a better idea. My view has always been getting the people of Candaril to safety, away from the oppression of Luminance Ashwood and the Exardescan Church. The way that Dushana wanted to go about that was not acceptable. But if we could get a small fleet of ships, that could be everything. You see, all of the wood that is collected by the Fellmen is processed in one logging camp, one building. There it is cut down and distributed. The good cuts go to the people on the wealthier side of town, and basically the scraps are what is left for everyone else. But the last time I was in Candaril, things were not good in the southern districts. The buildings were, some of them were frozen over completely. People were freezing to death inside their homes because there's just not enough firewood to go around for everyone. There's not enough warmth. And of course, most of it is being hoarded by the wealthy. Those who are producing it are saving what is the best for themselves. Who cares about the others?
Well, I mean, getting the wood is one thing, but it would take a long time to build like a fleet of ships that would be seaworthy enough to cross to Lokvara.
That's what I'm saying, though. You said perhaps you could
yeah,
get a fleet from Lokvara to
Right.
come here.
right.
If you could do that, we could go through with Dushana's plan, which was to destroy the logging factory.
That would cut off their ability to maintain the fire.
Yes. They would have no choice but to flee, and better to flee to the ships than into the wilds with the dreads.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
Either way, though, we're going to have to either convince or force
yeah.
her brightness to accept the terms of our plan.
I almost think we just go up to the gates and Ask to talk to your mother.
Why?
Why not?
Because speaking to her privately, she could do anything.
She could seize us, imprison us, and we wouldn't be able to get the information out to people.
Exactly.
If we get the information out first, it would force her to be diplomatic, or at least
forces her. Yeah.
It would force her out.
yeah, to either try diplomacy to maintain whatever
Right.
control she has, or to
Diplomacy
attack
gets
us.
a lot harder at that point.
I think diplomacy is hard with a crazy person.
Yeah, I mean, you often can't reason with someone who's abandoned reason,
Right.
but
Also,
She's convinced herself that she's sent from the heavens.
we can show a new message, as in what you're bringing.
does she know you're alive?
We don't know.
Like, we don't have to say that she was wrong, because if we say that she's wrong, she's going to react negatively to that. But if we show up with you, and you say that there is now safety that these people can go to, you could say that Escardeska sent you to help bring the people who want to safety now that they've suffered their trial by fire, or their
I don't feel good about covering up a lie with a different lie.
well,
And if that's even why she's doing any of this, people who are in control very rarely are willing to give it up.
Wow.
She has everything she wants here, and she controls it. We are introducing variables that she will not like,
yeah,
even if it means getting her daughter back.
we don't have to convince her if we
could
convince
be-
everybody else.
I've seen quite a few grieving people convince themselves of many things that don't make sense.
It's true.
So, we would need to go back to Lakvara or send somebody back to Lakvara to make this case to even bring enough ships to evacuate the rest of the city.
I mean, I'm sure that we could convince them to do that once we get back. Like, we could show that the crossing is safe enough, and they don't need to go inland. We just need to bring the people out to the ships once they get here. Or even just get to the dock. Like, there was a dock at the city. We didn't go to it
The docks
because
have been closed off. The wall now surrounds all of Candaril.
that could be brought down while we're going back and forth.
But what
The
forces
stone
do we
wall
have?
could be brought down.
Or like a ladder over it, or, like people could get over it to the docks.
All of you get this sort of directional presence, as though someone has stepped into the tent, but you all kind of instinctively turn and look, but there's nobody there. But a voice calls out, "What if we didn't need boats? What if perhaps, I don't know, someone who could put a city down could also pick one up?"
Oh,
He'd have to be real careful about it.
I'm sorry, what? You all looked away and
all right. Do you want to let him touch your thing?
No, thank you.
I just think it'd make life simpler.
I've
But-
seen the eyes you've been giving me, Brody, and I'm flattered, but not interested.
But we don't know when. Okay, so we met a being named Bromthier before, who's basically a giant mountain thing. And he had a city on top of him. And there were some problems, but he was able to move some of it around.
And put it somewhere else.
Yeah. I don't know, how. Well, here's the thing. He wasn't walking in very deep water before, and sailing between Ilvermere and Lokvara is probably a lot deeper, so he may not be able to walk along the bottom. And I think that's probably how he gets to and from, and rocks don't float, so if we put the city on him and he tries to walk to Lokvara, it would be an underwater adventure for the inhabitants.
I mean, picking up a city in general sounds not ideal.
Plus, maybe not everyone wants to leave. I don't know. It would be up to those people once we give them the option.
You've said a lot of things just now that I'm coping with.
I'll show him some drawings.
Does that help?
If I remember,
They're not.
if I
They
recall, we were not
Yeah.
good.
They're not.
They're not very good.
No, they don't apply to this at all.
They're just like random stick figures.
This one's a lady I saw that was pretty.
Listen, if what you say...
Are those big naturals?
Oh, very sloppy. You really captured the sloppiness.
That's the only good one.
If what you're saying is true, you would not necessarily have to pick up the city, but if we can inform those who want to leave the island that this is a possibility.
I mean, he could carry them to the boats at least.
Yes, it is a risk that I would be willing to take if it means getting people off of this island.
So
I think that
I'll be.
first we should maybe find out what it is that we're dealing with. We don't know anything of the public opinion.
Yeah.
We don't know what the city even looks like. We're dealing in hypotheticals.
Maybe we go in and get the lay of the land before we start making our plans. We see what's what, and then we decide
What's your mom's name again?
what.
Maeve.
Maeve.
I think that is a good idea. I think you should make an informed decision based off of your own observations. Just when you are in the city, be very careful not to stand out.
Is she that far gone?
I've only heard her sermons to the people.
Do you think she'd imprison her own daughter?
I don't think she was that far away from it when we left.
I know she was always a strict mother to you, but I cannot imagine. that-
She's burning people in the streets, everyone.
But
I know she's my ma, but I think we need to be realistic about who we're talking about.
You're not
think-
wrong. Tomorrow, I will take you to Candaril. We can disguise you as Luxens. You can stay among us. The people know that Luxens are different, typically. So that should be enough that not too many eyes will be drawn, but you should keep your head covered for most of it.
I write a little note on a piece of paper, and I fold it up, and I hand it to Brody.
Okay. Everyone sees this.
All right.
He reads it out loud.
What does that even say?
This is canon.
Rosie,
Oh, okay.
I think that maybe Alvy is also making eyes at you, and you should kiss.
Now I'm trying to set him up to be ear boothing.
Fire and wood.
Yeah.
Could it?
Incendiary.
So many jokes can be made.
Meet him on Tinder.
All right. So here's what I. Okay. Here's what I think.
She's a real spitfire. He's got wood. Sorry. Continue.
We can always sneak in,
Right.
and then if we need to play the card. Hey, I made a fire. Whatever.
Big whoop.
What's up, Mom? Yeah,
Right.
we can do that, but maybe we sneak in, get the lay of the land first, and then.
When you say sneak in, do you mean with us?
Yeah.
Or, okay, good, because trying to scale that wall is going to be near
Right. I
impossible.
think we're sneaky.
Yeah, we'll pretend like we're part of your group.
Perfect, yes. Trying to scale the wall would be suicide. There's
Oh.
constant watch for dreads.
I find a couple of sticks and I put them up to my head like horns, and I go, "Would this be rude?"
There are human Luxens amongst us. You
I
do
don't
not have to
sticks.
look. You do not have to look different. Some of us are out here by choice. Many of us are out here because we saw.
I like that you pick up sticks and ask a guy made of wood if it's okay.
Is it racist if I do this?
So Magnus has been a
Yes.
little racist.
Look, he's struggling with some institutionalized racism
Like you could have done that to anyone else.
that he developed around.
All right. Well, get some rest for the night, and on the morrow I will take you back to Candaril.
Okay. Should we cover up
wanna-
your fire with like mud or something so it's not apparent? I can clean it off after.
We're in the cave. It should be fine.
My
Oh, you mean Saoirse's hair?
Yeah.
I mean, you should be
Like
able
when
to
we
just
get in
wear
the
a cloak.
I've never tried to cover it. I don't know if that would.
You should probably cover it.
I mean, with a hood, yeah, but I've never tried like mud.
I mean, a hood's probably.
Like what?
You could probably just wear like a hat or something.
Right, that was what I was thinking.
All right. That's probably better.
Wonderful.
I'm overthinking this.
It's still, I'm just a person.
I know.
I feel like you've changed.
There's a horn that bellows in the distance, and Althea stands up straight before rushing over and like stepping out of the flap of the tent.
What is?
I'll
I'm gonna
follow.
follow. I would like to know what that is.
You all step outside. You see that there are two Luxens sprinting towards the mouth of the cave. One of them is like running with sword in hand. The other has what appears to be a longbow. Turns, and you see as they draw and loose two arrows. And following those into the distance, you see a chilling sight that you've not seen in many a year, as what looks like a tree line comes around the bend, following them.
Oh boy.
Albie turns to all of you and yells, "Dreads!" And that's where we're going to end this episode
jeez.
of the Sparkwind Chronicles.
Ah, jeez.